Hazel, do you think I would look good in pink? I've been considering an outfit change. Really? I think yellow suits you, honestly. Oh, sorry, we didn't see you there. My name is J-Dreamer, and my name is Professor Hazel. And welcome back to Pokemon Lavender, the series that's focused around the reboot of my Pokemon region Askos, which is based upon the country of Romania. Last time that we were here, we introduced some of the regional variants, and we also introduced two brand new types, the Light and Enigma types. Today we'll be focusing on finishing off the Pokédex, starting with some new evolutions to old Pokemon, and finishing with the almighty legendary Pokemon of our region. There's also going to be some old Fakemon that I created for the Frivo region making a cameo during this episode. Speaking of Frivo, now it's time for some new regional evolutions. All of these evolve with a new item, the Kipna Disc, created by a tech company based in the faraway Frivo region. The first evolution on our list is quite a weird one though. It's Cryo-Dracal, an Ice and Enigma type, and the evolution to Cryogonal. The code within the disc used to evolve it is said to have corrupted its DNA, causing it to duplicate itself out of control. The various fragments left over then combine themselves into this Pokemon. Cryo-Dracal is based on biblically accurate angels, which fit the Enigma type perfectly. Out of all Pokemon, I really wanted to give Cryogonal a new evolution, so now here it is. Its name comes from Cryogonal and Cylindrical. Next is Zanspectre, a normal and ghost type, and the evolution to Zangoose. It is able to phase in and out of reality, being paradoxically both dead and alive. Strangely, it seems to have gotten over its grudge for Seviper, as it helps to defend its former enemy against prey. It's based on Schrodinger's cat, of course, which was debated to be both dead and alive, and here Zanspectre literally is. It's also based on something else. From a certain other region? Yeah. A long time ago, the code for this evolution and the next one were created by another tech company called Cyber Labs, but the code was corrupted, causing them to turn into regional forms, so Kipna then fixed it. Zanspectre's name comes from Zangoose and Spectre. And of course its rival Seviper got an evolution too. Viseviper, a poison and dragon type. All draconic blood now courses through its veins. Its bite is extremely venomous and can cause plant life to instantly wilt. Strangely, it no longer harbors hate for Zangoose, seeing it as an ally. Viseviper is based upon a Quetzalcoatl, a snake-like creature in Aztec legend. These two were so happy with their new evolutions that they decided to put aside their differences. Of course, this one is also based on the past Revolution form, and as Hazel said, canonically these are the upgrades of those forms. Viseviper's name comes from Vicious and Seviper. Next is Valorga, the electric light evolution of Emolga. Powered up through a thirst for justice, this Pokemon seeks to help anyone in need, be it person or Pokemon. Sometimes it gets into more trouble than it can handle due to its bravado. It's based on superheroes mainly. It has a signature move too, a beefed up version of Volt Switch called Justice Orb. Its name comes from Valor and Emolga. Now for a unique Pokemon that uses the Kipna Disc to evolve. Phillipup, the Bright Pokemon, an Enigma and Electric type. It was once heralded as a mythical Pokemon, however it was soon discovered that this Pokemon is extremely common within its home region. That region is the Frivo region. It was imported over here many years ago, around when my father first became president. That was almost 18 years ago. Phillipup is based off light bulbs, and it used to be a ghost type, but I realized that due to it being considered a mythical once, Enigma type suited it better. Its name comes from Filament and Buddy. And through the Kipna Disc, Phillipup can evolve into Lightnybub, the friend Pokemon. This Pokemon was originally created for a young boy as his own personal companion. Many years later, the evolutionary code was gifted to the public. That sounds oddly familiar. Anyway, Lightnybub is actually loosely based off of Ultimate Echo from Ben 10, at least body shape wise. Its name comes from Lightning and Buddy. Now for something really exciting. Here in the Askos region we have 3 evolutions. Of course, one is an import from Frivo, but the other 2 are Askos born and raised. When a Queen's Jelly is used, Eevee will evolve into Buzzion, the honey Pokemon, a bug type. It likes to steal everyone's honey for itself as it loves sweet treats. This drives Vespiquen crazy, so the two have developed a mutual rivalry. Buzzion is quite simply a bumblebee. The item used to evolve it is a real thing. Bees feed to their young in order to turn them into queens if the situation arises. Buzzion's name comes from buzz, like a bee, and the suffix eon. When a luxury feather is used, Eevee will evolve into Zephion, the cloud Pokemon, a flying type. It controls the weather with powerful gusts of wind. It's said that if you see one, you'll be granted with good luck. It's based off of clouds and wind. Simple enough, right? Its name comes from zephyr, a kind of wind, and the suffix eon. Finally, when a Hypnodisc is used on an Eevee, it will evolve into Scibion, the iron Pokemon. 30 years ago, this Pokemon was very different. However, the code was updated in order to better serve trainers of the present. I'll pull up a picture of the old Scibion for you. This guy is based off robotic pets such as the iDog, Furbies, and the like. Its design was developed by that company Hazel mentioned before, Cyber Labs. Maybe Kipneon would be a better name, because Sibion's name comes from cyber and the suffix eon. Moving on, some more Pokemon native to Askos. Akruf, the tiny horse Pokemon, a normal and steel type. It loves to dance, but it hates being interrupted by Illifay. If the two meet, a violent fight is sure to break out. This is what we were talking about before. The dance that an Illifay can drag people into can actually be broken up by an Akruf. That's because Akruf is based upon the Kalusari, people who are part of a secret fraternity that practice an acrobatic dance that can resemble the galloping of a horse. Hence this. Akruf's name comes from acrobatic and hoof. Akruf evolves into Kalustep, the tap dance Pokemon. It ritualistically dances to the beat of its own drum, jumping through the air as if it had wings. It despises Illifay with every fibre of its being. It's more prevalent here, so I'll mention that its colour scheme is meant to resemble the Romanian flag, and its design is heavily inspired by the costumes that the Kalusari wear. Speaking of which, its name comes from Kalusari and step, as in within a dance. And finally, Kalustep evolves into EeveeGalaxies, the choreography Pokemon. It leads a flock of Akruf and Kalustep in coordinated dances, but watch out, if a wild one approaches you and starts to dance, it's an invitation to battle. Remember Listen? Well, it's theorized that the Kalusari may have originated as a worship ritual for the god Mars. And yes, Mars is a Roman god, but why do you think Romania is called Romania? Oh, and EeveeGalaxies' name comes from ritual and gallop, like a horse. Next is Rotastry, the moldy Pokemon, a poison and ground type. It is said that if food is let to rot, it will eventually turn into this Pokemon. It's affectionate, but the smell it secretes is too terrible for anyone to stand. It's based upon mud pie, both the food and the thing you used to make as a kid. It's also supposed to resemble a rotten cupcake that's turned into a disgusting sludge. Its name comes from rotten, tasty, and pastry. Rotastry then evolves into Muckamud, the rotten Pokemon. It will gladly offer a piece of itself to hungry-looking individuals, but these morsels of spoiled food can cause an upset stomach. It grows sad if its offering is refused. Aw, it just wants to be friends. Same basis as before. Its name comes from mucky and mud. Very concise. You know, I think I'm starting to like you a bit more. Me too, Hazel. Me too. Okay, Coldier, the winter Pokemon, an ice type. It shivers a lot, but not from being cold. In fact, it shivers because its internal temperature is too hot. It loves to play in the snow, which helps it to cool down. Jay? Are you still there? Jay? I guess they've gone. Coldier is a reindeer Pokemon, like Deerling or Stantler. Its name comes from cold and, deer. Damn, Jay made that bit sound way cooler. Cool. Coldier evolves into Firmisteed, the regulation Pokemon. It is said that Firmisteed is able to regulate its own body temperature with ease, usually preferring to keep itself frosty and cool at all times. But if a Firmisteed grows too overheated, it will become furious, transforming into its sweltering form, an ice and fire type. The heat it radiates is hot enough to cause third-degree burns upon contact. It's somewhat like a thermometer. It's both hot and cold. Why did I suddenly get deja vu? Anyway, its name comes from thermometer and steed. It has a signature move called Tempera Shot, which changes type depending on what form it's in. Next is Pressy Snake, the laser Pokemon, a steel and electric type. Using its heightened intellect, it's able to calculate the perfect shot. It sears through metal with ease, cleanly cutting things in half. It's a snake that resembles lasers. I know that's pretty simple. These guys also have a signature move, Molten Metal, which steel types are weak to, and it always burns the target. Its name comes from precise and snake. Then it evolves into Lurserpent, the neon Pokemon. They draw their powers from the sun with their large wings, which can injure them if they absorb too much. Vicious fights usually break out between Lurserpent and Mandibuzz. It injures them because rarely, Lurserpent can have dry skin as an ability, which massively hinders it in the wild. Its rivalry with Visconia and Mandibuzz usually causes several Mandibuzz to lose their ability to fly. A hit from Molten Metal can raise their wings right off. Lurserpent's name comes from laser and serpent. I don't suppose Jay is coming back now. I didn't even see them leave. Next is Douclor, the wind Pokemon, a dragon and fairy type. It runs across the top of clouds as its main form of transportation. Good weather and sunshine follow it wherever it travels. I think this one is also based off another Romani tradition? Though this one is more of a legend. The Solomonari was said to be dragon riders who had the power to control the weather. They rode upon beasts with many heads, which probably resembles Douclor's evolution more. Douclor's name comes from Bondoc, a type of dinosaur, Balar, a type of dragon, Claw, and Roar, a cutesy version of Roar. Boy, that's a lot. Douclor evolves into Zalanari, the weather Pokemon. In legend, it is said that a trainer and their Zalanari were able to tame the weather itself. However, they became too powerful, causing a drought that wiped up an entire forest. That forest has since regrown, but in the past it was pretty much a desert. That's actually based off the present-day Altenian Sahara. Oh, I am pardon you! Oh, don't spook me like that, Jay. Hey, have you changed outfits? What on earth are you talking about? Anyway, as I was saying, the Altenian Sahara is a real-life desert in Romania, where a forest once stood. Though it wasn't destroyed by a drought, it was destroyed by deforestation, and said deforestation is still ongoing to this day. That's horrible! Zalanari is also based upon a Bala, a Romanian dragon that's said to have many heads, similar to a Hydra. It has a signature ability, Radiant, which raises its speed during sunshine. Zalanari's name comes from Zmiu, a related Romanian dragon, Ala, an alternate name for the Bala, and Solomonari. Next is Trickstowl, the strange Pokemon, a psychic and ghost type. This Pokemon is said to dwell within a realm of shadows and is able to manipulate them at will. It is said that every Trickstowl has exactly 1,000 feathers. Trickstowl is based upon the Zmu, a shape-shifting dragon from Romanian folklore. It takes many forms, one of them being a bird, like Trickstowl. The 1,000 feathers is a reference to the Japanese 1,000 origami cranes myth, where it's said that if you were to follow 1,000 cranes, you will be able to grant a single wish. Trickstowl's name comes from trickster and fowl, a name for a domesticated bird. Trickstowl evolves, or rather shapeshifts, into Natragil, the serpentine Pokemon. It moves so fast that it's undetectable by the human eye, appearing at any moment to scare away any threats to its territory. Once again, it's a form of the Zmu, this time a snake. The Zmu likes to kidnap women to be his wife within another realm, usually being stopped by a valiant hero. In fact, its evolution has a story exactly like that. Natragil's name comes from natural, jealous, and Gia. Natragil evolves into Mewstrux, the illusion Pokemon. This Pokemon matches the description of a legendary Pokemon who once kidnapped a princess and was slain by a selfless and charming knight, so just like the story Jay was telling. Don't call me that name. Huh? What should I call you then? Call me Smurfs. What was that? Never mind. Mewstrux is based upon the most common form of the Zmu, an anthropomorphic dragon with snake-like features. It has shape-shifting abilities, and that is translated through the psychic typing this Pokemon possesses. Mewstrux's name comes from Zmu and Destruct. It also has the signature move Twisted Scheme, which acts like the move Super Fang. You're being a little strange today, Jay. Is everything okay? Don't fret your little mind, Professor. Okay. Next is Pixie, the Sugar Rush Pokemon, a poison and fairy type. It is constantly unaware of its surroundings, driven drowsy by the sweet contents of the bottles they reside within. It seeks out more of the elixir that created it to feed its addiction. It's based upon the Sugar Plum Fairy from the Nutcracker, but is also based upon a type of alcohol, Soika, a spirit made from plums. Wait, so you're saying that Pixie is drunk? Oh no, it's just had too much sugar. It has a signature ability, Disorientates, which makes every move have a chance to confuse. And Pixie's name comes from tipsy and pixie. I see. Pixie doesn't evolve, so let's talk about another Pokemon that also can't evolve. Elandroid, the glitch Pokemon, a Steel and Enigma type. Although this Pokemon is clearly man-made, there is no actual documentation of its creation. It is rumored that centuries ago it was abandoned by its creator. This is based upon old arcade machines that have lost their popularity, as well as inactive robots or broken toys. All Elandroid can do now is emit strange, unnerving noises that sound like a time long past. Its name comes from Android and LAN, as in a computer network. Oh hey, your voice went back to normal. We're getting close to the end now. The pseudo-legendaries are next, are they not? And yet you still sound really posh. Anyway, you are right. Let's start with Warflutter, the Third Eye Pokemon, a bug and enigma type. Its reaction time is extremely quick. It uses its small size to its advantage, dodging any attack that might threaten to harm it. It's theorized that this Pokemon came from another world. Warflutter and the rest of its line are based upon the concept of the butterfly effect. That is, the theory that even the smallest action or decision can affect the outcome of an event. Here, they're literal butterflies. Its name comes from warp and flutter, like a butterfly's wings. Warflutter evolves into Realiprince, the Deja Vu Pokemon. When encountering a Realiprince, one can't help but have a strange sense of deja vu. Rumors state that it was one of the very first Pokemon to be created, which brings up a lot of questions as to which Pokemon came first. Mew? Bulbasaur? Rhydon? Realiprince? Let's not even go there. Realiprince's name comes from reality and prince. Its powers are slowly developing though. It can evolve finally into the pseudo-legendary Determinarch, the Universe Pokemon. It is said that if the timeline were to split, this Pokemon would come into existence. It is able to travel between dimensions at will, and is able to siphon the power of other Pokemon for its own usage. Its signature move is Reality Shift, which allows it to siphon others' powers. It has to charge for one turn, but it deals massive damage. It has an ability too, Vicissitude, which makes it immune to priority moves and Trick Room. Determinarch has a power I wish I could use. There are a lot of things I would go back in time to change. Don't you feel the same, Hazel? I suppose so. But the butterfly effect is dangerous. Changing just one event in the past could cause the entire timeline to change. Trust me, I would leap at the chance to make sure my dad never became president. Why would you change that? It's just, I don't know. I haven't really seen him. He barely shows his face to the public anymore, not ever since my sibling was born. I know he's under a lot of stress and pressure, I just wish I could take it all away.
Let me give you the power you seek.
Huh? I didn't say anything, Professor. Next is Dracub, the soldier Pokemon, a dragon type. It has many tongues that it uses to produce various sounds that resemble a wind instrument. It's theorized that the inside of a Dracub is hollow. It's based upon another Romanian dragon, this time a Dacian Draco, which wasn't actually a dragon, it was an instrument. A Dacian Draco would be flown by the Dacians during wars, acting as some sort of wind instrument. It's specifically a serpent with the head of a wolf, which is what Dracub is. Its name comes from Draco and cub. Dracub evolves into Barbodash, the Screech Pokemon, and it gains the Flying type upon evolving. This Pokemon was used many years ago during wars, intimidating enemies with the loud noises it would emit. Just like you said. And here's a fun fact. The root of the Greek word Drakon means to guard with a sharp eye. Keep that in mind. Oh, and also its name comes from Barbarian and Dash. Alright. Barbodash evolves into Zalmoxar, the Forge Pokemon. It is revered as a pseudo-legendary throughout the region. It guards with a sharp eye, emitting powerful supersonic waves to deter attackers. As you can see, it becomes more wolf-like as it progresses. The chains it wears are just jewelry, the gold symbolizing how cherished it used to be in the past. It has the signature move Hollow Brate, which lowers the target's evasion by 2 stages. Its name comes from Zalmoxis, a Christ-like figure in Dacian religion, and Bala, a creature that the Dacian Draco is often mistaken for. We're nearly there, everyone! It's time for the final 2 Pokemon, the legendary Pokemon of the Askos region. Imparmony, the Refusal Pokemon, a light and flying type. It is said to be able to bring the dead back to life, but it has been many years since anything like this has been observed. It's been around for as long as anyone can remember, and it's best described as Arceus on Earth. Though, rumors state that Arceus was not the one who created it or its brother. Imparmony has the ability Resurrect, which upon fainting, grants life force to another Pokemon in weight, healing their HP fully. Imparmony's name comes from Emperor and Harmony. The cross it carries in its beak has become a symbol for the Askos region, and it's not rare to see people carrying said symbol. It's based upon the Romanian coat of arms, which contains a lion and an eagle, thus making a griffin. It also takes inspiration from phoenixes, and of course, Christianity as a whole. Its brother Duschakla is a different story. Duschakla is the Acceptance Pokemon, a dark and flying type. It will appear in front of people on death's door, and escort them into the afterlife. Despite legends calling it evil, this Pokemon is actually rather kind. It's based upon the legend of Dracula, whilst also taking inspiration from actual vampire bats and the Phantom of the Opera. Its name comes from Dracula, Dusk, and Chaos. If Imparmony represents the refusal of death, then Duschakla is the acceptance of it. It's been seen as a dark force because, well, bad people have used its powers in the past in order to instill fear. Like King Blake Latimer. Yeah, neither of the legendaries have been sighted since King Blake died. You lie. Huh? You know exactly where Imparmony is, Hazel. I don't know what you're talking about. we've reached the end. I think it's time for the charades to come to an end. I apologize, Professor Hazel, but I've known this entire time as to who brought us here, and I apologize for dealing with your friend. What? You're not making any sense. Though I believe they were working together with something. Someone. Surely you know who I'm referring to. I don't like this. Their name is Listen. The planet? No. The Pokemon. I know you're out there, and I know you're listening. I don't want anything from you. It is more something you can do for me. Make sure that Coral wins. If you do that, I'm sure we'll meet again. Goodbye.